The story begins in a home that should have felt safe, but instead carried years of unspoken anger. One ordinary evening turned into the breaking point when a simple glass of water led to an argument with my sister. Vanessa stood in front of me, furious and accusing me of touching her things, even though I hadn't. Before I could defend myself, she slammed me against the fridge with so much force that I felt my rib crack. The pain was sharp, unbearable, and I could barely breathe. I called out for my mother, hoping for comfort, but instead she dismissed me with a laugh and a warning not to involve the police. To her, protecting Vanessa's future was more important than protecting me. In that moment, I realized the truth I had been ignoring for years. In this family, my pain never mattered. That night, as I lay in my room struggling to breathe, I finally understood how deep the betrayal ran. My mother's laughter, her refusal to even check on me, and Vanessa's cold smirk the next morning told me everything I needed to know. They would never change. Remembered every time Vanessa had stolen from me, every lie she told to ruin my friendships, every moment my parents dismissed me as dramatic. But instead of breaking down, I decided to stay quiet and watch. I began to plan. I took pictures of my bruises, recorded the sound of my mother warning me not to call the police, and even gathered proof of Vanessa's reckless past. For years, I had been treated like the problem in the family, but this time, I would no longer be silent. I knew Vanessa had something to lose now. Her reputation, her future, her carefully crafted image, and I had the one thing she couldn't escape from, the truth. The opportunity to act came sooner than I expected. Vanessa had a job interview lined up with a well-known company, and she was proudly showing off her new blazer and stolen jewelry like nothing had happened. But when she left her laptop open, I saw the lies on her resume and remembered the evidence I had already collected. I reached out to the company's HR department, not with rumors or exaggerations, but with the truth. I sent them the photos of my bruises, the medical report confirming my broken rib, and the recording of my mother telling me not to involve the police. For years, I had been forced into silence, but this time I made sure my voice was heard. When Vanessa returned from the interview, her confidence was gone. She looked shattered, realizing the company knew everything. She screamed that someone had sabotaged her, but I didn't need to say a word. The truth was finally working against her, and for the first time, I felt the power shifting in my favor. As Vanessa's world began to collapse, I quietly prepared to take control of my own. What my family never knew was that the house we lived in had been placed in my name years ago by my grandfather, who never trusted my mother's careless ways. With the trust money he left behind, I was able to secure the home and finally free myself from their control. I placed the eviction notice and my medical report on the kitchen counter, a silent declaration that their power over me was ending. The shock on their faces turned quickly into anger, but this time I didn't flinch. When Vanessa tried to attack me again, I picked up the phone and called the police without hesitation. For years, they had used fear and guilt to keep me quiet. But now, I had the law, the documents, and most importantly, the courage to stand my ground. The deadline was set. They had 30 days to leave, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. When the house finally became mine, silence filled the walls for the first time. No more slammed doors, no more shouting, no more dismissive laughter at my pain. I began to rebuild, painting the walls, throwing out old furniture, and turning Vanessa's room into an art studio. The very dream I had been told would never support me. Soon after, I accepted a scholarship I had once deferred, stepping into a future free from their control. My art started to gain recognition, and I found work with companies that once ignored me, while Vanessa's name was quietly blacklisted. For the first time, my life was no longer defined by their abuse, but by my choices. I surrounded myself with people who cared, who asked how I was, and who valued me. On the day I graduated, wearing the necklace my grandmother left me, I whispered a promise to myself. This ending belonged to me. I had taken back everything they tried to steal. My voice, my freedom, and my future. Vanessa and my parents drifted into the background of my life, carrying the weight of their own choices. I heard whispers about their struggles, Vanessa bouncing from job to job, my parents living with relatives who saw through their excuses, but none of it mattered to me anymore. For the first time, I wasn't the victim in their story. I was the author of my own. Every breath I took without pain reminded me of how far I had come. The girl who once lay on her bed, gasping for air, begging for help that never came, had turned her silence into strength. My sister broke my rib, my mother laughed at my pain, and my family tried to erase me, but I refused to be erased. This ending wasn't about revenge alone. It was about freedom, about reclaiming a life they never believed I deserved. Now, every step I take forward is proof that I do.